Guilty Gear Strive, the 7th mainline Guilty Gear game and 24th overall game in the franchise, published by Arc System Works, is one of those games where I don't know where to place it in the world of fighting games. Guilty Gear Strive is one of those games, which revels in how complex it can technically be, and how punishing the gameplay is to those that haven't spent decades dedicated to its own fighting system. Personally speaking, I'm no novice when it comes to fighting games, as I grew up in the golden age of fighting games, aka the 1990s. Since those early days playing arcade fighting games at Ed Fleming Lanes, the local bowling alley where my mother worked, leaving me to get free games on anything I played, mostly Street Fighter II and its many iterations, I've been one of those people who understands the ideas behind what makes a fighting game something to be proud of. Most fighting games set out to be somewhat balanced and easy to grasp right out of the gate. Then as you grow and evolve as a player, you'll understand the more technical aspects of the game, like hitboxes and frame data, and use that knowledge to bring your experience to more competition-like levels. Other games, like Dragon Ball FighterZ for example, tend to skip the learning curve and allow people to access the more technical nature through pure experimentation. Guilty Gear Strive, on the other hand, expects you to know and understand all the high-level aspects of fighting games and how they work with its own playstyle from the very first fight you play, and if you don't do it, then it will gleefully punish you for not being up to its level, and shame of you for not being so, you filthy noob. For a game that was promoted as a complete reconstruction of the franchise, I do not understand how Guilty Gear Strive can be so damn broken, yet makes you feel like you were the problem at the same time. Jumping into the very scant variety of options you are presented with, namely arcade, versus, endless survival modes for solo players, ranked and casual matches for online, and an extremely boring story mode, I was shocked to see something that had been so hyped by fellow fighting game players here at the Outerhaven, just resulting in being so average. For the most part, Guilty Gear Strive is a decent fighting game, as that is the main purpose of the whole game. You fight in the best of 3 format that is tradition, using a variety of kick, punches and special moves to beat down your opponent and build meter for a super move. Nothing too innovative here. The special moves are nice and flashy, counters are announced with the word crashing across the screen when they happen, and super moves have nice animations when they begin but get lost in particle effects once they hit. Guilty Gear Strive features 15 characters at launch, with more to be added over time through downloadable content. There are 13 returning characters and 2 new characters in the roster, with one, Nagoriyuki, being the biggest pain in the ass and most broken character I've encountered since the likes of Geese Howard and Wolfgang Krauser in SNK's Fatal Fury games. Yes, Guilty Gear Strive is subject to the legendary SNK boss syndrome. According to Guilty Gear Strive's producer, Akira Katano, the development team aimed the appeal for more players to come into the game by making the gameplay of Strive easier to comprehend compared to previous Guilty Gear games, instead of making it easier. Sorry my dude, but you failed big time on this one. As someone who has very little experience with the Guilty Gear franchise, I found this game to be way too punishing, very broken when it comes to hitboxes activating from hits that happen from the other side of the screen, and moves are very hit and miss, and I'm talking OG Street Fighter hit and miss. I just found the overall experience just not being new player friendly, and only appealing to those people who have played this game for many decades, and just absolutely being a complete mess of a game. Speaking of a miss, I'm sorry, but I couldn't really be bothered spending something like 20 minutes on average going through each of the 20 plus chapters in the glorified anime saga that Guilty Gear Strive calls a story mode, with little to no interaction at all. With games like Mortal Kombat redefining the whole story mode idea with interactive scene, good fights and well-paced stories, even something that Street Fighter later adapted, having to sit down for somewhere around 4 hours with Guilty Gear Strive story mode is just boring. I'm sorry, if I wanted a Guilty Gear anime, I would pay for a Guilty Gear anime. I'm not paying for that as a bonus and calling it a story mode. While Guilty Gear Strive might be the sleeper hit fighting game fans, or a lot of its own fans that will love it to bits, for someone who is more of a casual fighting game player who just wants something to use as an evening to take out after work frustrations on, or some casual matches with friends for a laugh online, Guilty Gear Strive does not feel like it wants somebody like me as a player, which sucks because the game is visually amazing and looks very interesting and could be a really good competitive game. However, this game feels like something that only wants its previous fans to come back for, and no one else. Guilty Gear Strive is a 2 out of 5 stars for me, but I'm sure others will state differently, so check out the written review on the Outerhaven website when it's published and make up your own mind. This has been Carl for the Outerhaven. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, leave us a thumbs up or down, or maybe even a comment. For more news, reviews, opinions on the world of video games, TV, movies, anime and more, come on by the Outerhaven at www.theouterhaven.net and stay tuned here at the Outerhaven YouTube channel.